Let's hope more weeks in this NFL season could be like week 4. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And yes, it's a lot more fun when your team is dominant in victory. But in general, this was just a fun week of football. So let's take a look back at week 4 of the 2018 NFL season. It all got kicked off Thursday night in that shootout between the Rams and the Vikings. Jared Goff was incredible. That Rams offense is explosive as hell. This looks like a greatest show on turf part 2. They beat the Vikings 38-31. And then when you get to the Sunday games, you got A.J. Green, basically in the last play of the game, getting a touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. And the Cincinnati Bengals are sitting there at 3-1, tied for first in the AFC North. Who the hell would have saw that coming? And the Falcons are 1-3 and looking like this season might be starting to slip away from them. All that talk about Fitzmagic, it was Mitch Magic, Mitchell Trubisky, 354 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 5 of those touchdown passes in the first half. Khalil Mack, 4 straight great game with a forced fumble sack. The Bears destroyed the Buccaneers 48-10, and Fitzmagic is officially over. Over. Matthew Stafford tried to bring his team back to victory, throwing a late touchdown pass to Golden Tate, but the Cowboys responded, got a last-second field goal, and the Cowboys beat the Lions 26-24. Aaron Rodgers might think his offense was terrible, but they still found a way to dominate and beat the Bills 22-0, and now they're sitting there at 2-1-1 and probably feeling a little bit better about themselves. You look at that Titans-Eagles game. That game was a lot of fun. And Mike Vrabel's gamble paid off, especially when his players execute it. I applaud teams that go for the win instead of trying to play for the tie. The Titans played for the win, and they got rewarded, and they beat the Eagles in overtime. And now the Titans are sitting there at 3-1 and looking a little bit impressive. Frank Reich also gambled late in overtime against the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, he rolled snake eyes. The Texans get a last-second field goal, and they find a way to beat the Colts in overtime to get their first win of the year. So the Texans maybe, for the moment, feel like they have salvaged their season. And in the meantime, the Colts are looking and saying, what do we have to do to win a game? We've been competitive in all of them. All that talk about the Dolphins at 3-0 and all that talk that comes up, it seems like almost every year, about the Patriots being in trouble in September. Yeah, they came out and spanked the Dolphins. They brought them right back to reality, and they destroyed them 38-7. The Jaguars grounded the Jets 31-12. Baker's first start in the black hole. That game was nuts and crazy. It looks like the Raiders might have got a beneficial call or two, but nonetheless, they burned the Browns in overtime, and John Gruden gets his first victory as a head coach this go-round. Earl Thomas flipped the bird to the Seattle Seahawks, but the Seahawks ultimately fucked the Cardinals in Josh Rosen's first start 20-17. At least if you can say a few of the Cardinals, Rosen looked at least competent, and that's got to stand for something. Alvin Kamara had a big day as he helped lead the Saints to victory over the crappy New York Giants. Yeah. What more can he really say? Without Jimmy Garoppolo, C.J. Beathard and the 49ers did their best to stick a game to the Chargers, and they really did stick a game to them. They almost beat them, but the Chargers found a way to steal a win 29-27. The Baltimore Ravens beat up on the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football, one of the best rivalries in the game, and the Ravens look like clearly the class of the field. Oh my goodness, things are getting uglier by the week in Pittsburgh. And then my boy, Patrick Mahomes, show me Mahomes, gets hot in the fourth quarter on prime time Monday night and led the Chiefs to a comeback victory over the Broncos, 27-23, including the left-handed pass that we'll probably never forget. It was a nutso's week. All types of fun shit happened. It was insane, and I loved it. Makes me feel like I'm a kid again. Now let's talk about some of the winners and losers of the week. Winners, Mitchell Trubisky. Here I am doing a video talking about it as a time for Bears fans to panic about him. He responds with 6 touchdown passes. Ultimately, the Bears are a playoff caliber team, especially with that defense and with their ability to run the ball. They are a team that, in theory, could get into the playoffs and make a little bit of noise, yes, even in the tough NFC. They'll ultimately only go as far as their quarterback, which sounds like a familiar refrain for Bears fans. But for Trubisky to go out there and throw 6 touchdown passes, The Bears are sitting there at 3-1. Trubisky, at least for 1 week, had to silence all the critics, and he did so. I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, too. Say what you want, 3-1 is 3-1, and that was a great, tough, come-from-behind, last-second victory over the Falcons. Marvin Lewis is coaching like he gives a crap, and the players are playing like they give a crap. Imagine how that works out. And then Mike Vrabel, to have the courage to go for it in overtime like he did, to not play it safe and try to play for the field goal and play for the tie. His team ultimately responded and validated his decision when they beat the defending Super Bowl champions at home. So Vrabel has to be a big winner, especially looking at this Titans team, and they're now 3-1 and in a first-place tie with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Losers for the week, Isaiah Oliver. It's A.J. Green. I don't give a damn what defensive scheme they call. You stay tight on A.J. Green. You don't let him get behind you. You have to keep him in front of you. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I don't know what the hell defense they were calling there. That is ridiculous. When you're facing the Bengals, especially since Tyler Eifert wasn't in there, you look at A.J. Green and you say, okay, we're going to put 2 on him. We refuse to let him beat us. Somebody else is going to have to do it. That's the only defensive play call to make in that situation. You can't let A.J. Green catch that ball in the corner of the end zone to win the damn game in your house. Horrible. Dave Gettleman also looks like a loser. Yes, Saquon Barkley is a very, very nice talent. He's going to be a good player in this league for a long time to come. But he didn't do a good enough job of addressing the offensive line, which was necessary if you were going to keep Eli Manning as your starter. You've now decided you wanted to go all in with Eli for another year or 2, and you're sitting at 1-3. This is potentially going to be something that this general manager, Dave Gettleman, and this organization is going to be criticized for years, is taking Saquon Barkley instead of one of the quarterbacks, notably Sam Darnold. Because next year, they're probably going to have to be right back around drafting a damn quarterback anyways, when they could have already had the guy in the fold. And then Mike Tomlin. His team's undisciplined, his defense stinks, his offense isn't clicking. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are still supposed to allegedly be some type of championship contender, are sitting there at 1-2-1. The heat is really going to start ratcheting up on this guy, frankly, as it should. And then we get to my 2-minute thrill of the week. 2 minutes or less to talk about something. I just want to talk about how much fun this week was. That Rams-Vikings shootout on Thursday night. The fact there was actually a decent Thursday night game. Again. That's fun. After that Browns-Jets game last week, you follow it up with this great display of offensive football. That's awesome. For me personally, the Bears bashing the Bucks' brains in was a lot of fun too. When you could sit there and very early on know that there is no doubt that this team is going to win this game, and win it convincingly, and you see the young quarterback that you have major concerns about go out there and throw for over 350 yards and 6 touchdown passes. Man, that's a lot of fun. You had 3 overtime games this week with decisions being made late in the game on 4th down with teams trying to win it. What more could you ask for? And then you cap off the week with Show Me Mahomes on Monday night, throwing the ball left-handed. People talk about it, he's a human cheat code and everything else. Well, you're probably right, he is. He's fucking awesome. That's what he is. This was a fun-ass week of football. I know not every single week can be like this. I know that, and I understand that. But a few more weeks like this most certainly wouldn't hurt my feelings and wouldn't hurt any other football fans' feelings either. Because this was a lot of fun, and it's weeks like this that remind me why still I love the game of football so much.